What is up, everybody? Welcome to another Living the Dream live show. Um, how you doing today, Isaac?
I'm doing pretty good, man. There's a lot of news currently going around that we can get into for Atlanta. Yeah, I'm feeling good. Been kind of talking, for most of the morning, getting this show going, rundown going. So, yeah, I'm feeling good. Just glad we're
Yeah,
able to give the viewers, some much needed, I guess you can say, information. So,
yeah, yeah. I mean, February was kind of active, which was,
hmm
that was like the first month we really kicked it off.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
I think Dan Padover. It was kind of crazy because we had this press conference with him. We were in there, separately. Me, living the dream. You under the Dream Fan podcast. Um, it was it was funny because like he kept giving off like these smirks, like when people kept asking him about okay, like what are we doing this off season? What are the moves? You guys have been very kind of silent. You made moves here and there. And it was just like a couple days right after that, it was like everything just started to come out. We got Indy Jones, got Kyla Hillsman, signed Christy Wallace. Got Maya Caldwell, which I know Georgia. The fans of Georgia are happy about that. So it
really,
was just like it just the steam just kept rolling, and then we got this situation, where it looks like the WNBA has dogged us on national broadcasting yet again. But yeah, a lot of stuff. It was just like it just kept hitting us, and we got some really good additions, so we can get into that.
yeah. I guess we can touch on. I'll touch on the national game schedule thing. Um, because personally, being an Atlanta fan, I think everybody knows like, hey, you only gonna get one or two national games, and that's kind of sort of what you live like. Those are what you gonna get. Like, mind you, the Hawks had the most I think we've had in years,
Hmm.
and that was just because we had a great playoff run. And I mean, you look at the Falcons. I don't even think the Falcons. We might have had one this year, if I remember correctly. We might have had one national televised game. And that's kind of sort of like, of course the Braves will be the Braves, so they're gonna have games, and then United, of course, is gonna have games on TV. But to think of, it's kind of crazy to think that we don't get enough respect, and we don't even get one national televised game. At least give us one. I would have been fine with one. Like, okay, cool, we got one. But to not give us one was the part that really kind of sort of like made me mad, because we're not that bad. We're not even bad. Like, we had a worst season we've had in a long time last year, and they took that to heart. Basically said, okay,
Yeah,
let's not give you
anything.
anything. Literally, they took advantage of it. They took advantage of us being a bad team, and if they didn't already like Atlanta and the new ownership and all of that, they just gave them the key to go and just start the car and say, let's not give them anything this year. How do you feel? How was your like initial reactions towards it?
Well, first when I first seen it, I thought it was like just in general like key games, like of the season, or even just in general games that were, for one, when I looked at it, actually, if I'm being honest with you, I thought it was like a rundown of the season. So, when I first started, I'm like, okay, no, these are nationally televised games. And I'm like, okay, well, we don't get one of them, like not even one. Like we play, for one, the Sky, we play we play the Mercury. In their first 10 games, we play these teams. So it's just like it would have been easy to kind of slide us in, into like maybe with the first two or three televised games. But it was like they, like how you said, it was like they see this last season that we had, and we're like, you know what? We're automatically going to label you guys a bad team, and we're not going to give you guys any amount of televised coverage whatsoever. And I think that just, it goes back to kind of like what I was saying the last time that we were on the live, where it's just like, you got all these, podcasts, and now it's, even news broadcasters with like they're picking and choosing, who's a good team, who's a bad team, to put on there. And it's like, it's why choose teams when this league is currently in a position where they don't have enough marketing, they don't have enough broadcasting. So it's like, why pick and choose when you can have all of them on there? It just,
That's
it seems,
that's that's another thing because you get into it and you're just like, okay, cool. Not everybody's gonna want to watch the same team over and over again on TV, on national TV. So you
Yeah,
put the same type of teams on. They're gonna get tired of watching the same. Like they're gonna be like, are there not any more teams in WNBA? Because a lot of people don't watch local WNBA games. They kind of sort of want to catch the national ones. And
yeah,
what you're doing is basically limiting a crowd of players and fans to have to watch just these certain amounts of games. That's it. That's really what you're doing.
yeah. It just shows how dysfunctional currently our front office is when it comes, not Dream's front office, but our front office when it comes to the league. Our commissioner, I mean, as much as we've done the 75,000 or $75 million capital investment, I haven't really seen too much at it. I applied to Atlanta Dream to help for marketing. Was a part of that full capital investment. Devontae did, you did. We yet to receive a call. So it just goes to show like there's a lot of decisions that the organization has said that they're making, but they're not capitalizing on, and it's now putting us in a situation where now Atlanta Dream, we're not going to be able to see televised games. It's like fucking sucks. I
It's
really
going
do.
to be It's a horrible thought process of not being
It's
able
like
to see
personally
it.
tanking. It's like personally tanking a team. It's like
Yeah,
how I just don't understand the thought process in that. Like if you worked with ES for one, I'm sorry, but high school basketball has more exposure, more broadcasting than the WNBA, and not that's sad to fucking say, dude. Like it really is to know that Bronny James, because he's Bronny James, gets more coverage than say a Candace Parker. Like last year we barely hit a record of 1 million when it came to broadcasting views. So there's a lot that goes into, I guess, what could be done, what can't be done. But there is a lot that's not being done right now, that is being overlooked. So I'm just happy that our roster is not they're kind of they're taking this as like another chip on their shoulder. Like, okay, you put me in this situation, so I'm gonna put you in this situation now where you think we're not good enough to be on national television, and hey, we're gonna prove you wrong. So
yeah. That's the fun part about it. You kind of sort of, if we're good, you're gonna have to start flexing those games.
oh yeah,
That's gonna be the problem. They're gonna hate having to flex a Connecticut Sun game or a Phoenix Mercury game and flex them and have to put the heart and and put the dream on. Because you're
yeah,
gonna have to. And it's gonna make them more aggravated that every week, we go in every day we play a game, we get better, we win, and like
yeah.
it's really gonna piss them off because like we need you to lose so we don't have to keep changing stuff. And I think that's really what it is. Like like they have pre-made everything and you're gonna have to change up everything because of the pure fact this team is too good not to put on TV. That's really what it is.
And I mean Erica Wheeler, Maya Caldwell, Christy Wallace, Tip Hayes, Monique Billings, Kia Vaughn, Nia Coffey, Indy Jones, Kyla Hillsman. What's crazy is Kyla Hillsman and Indy Jones, they played with Kennedy Carter. So it's just like we get those two back, get those two in exchange for what we lost, I guess, in Kennedy Carter. What Atlanta Dream fans are saying we lost. I don't see anything. Um, but these are these are individuals that are not going to that are just like, oh, okay, we're not playing televised games, so I'm not gonna play as hard. I'm not gonna do that. No, everybody is locked in. Everybody is ready to play. They keep telling. I mean, from the last press conference that we had, Tanisha Wright, heavily emphasized that everybody is, consistently keeps coming up to her and asks her what can we do? What can we do that will help this team grow? That'll help this team, gain some type of momentum. So yeah, 2022 season, Atlanta Dream being left out for national televised games was the wrong decision, and I think they're gonna realize it come midway through the season when we start actually formulating a core. We have a core, and I think I said that also in the last live that we did, is that our core might not have played with each other at the same time, but we have some vital pieces that we can mix and mesh together, and some core pieces that come off from the bench as well. that can complement us all. And I really don't think that this team is looking at these nationally televised games and is looking at it like, we shouldn't play hard, because no
Yeah.
one's going to be watching us. I highly doubt that, especially since now that um, Hollywood box seats for Atlanta, their floor seats, they're taken. They've been bought out. They're sold out. So obviously, there's something going on in Atlanta that, you know, they're not taking notice to. They don't want to. It goes to that narrative that they want. They want Atlanta to be a bad team. They want Indiana to be a bad team. They want Dallas to be a bad team. Just because they're in the lottery doesn't mean they're bad teams. There's been multiple cases where teams that were playoff contention teams are first, third picks in our lottery draft. So yeah, I don't think that this team is going to go anywhere when it comes to their competitiveness. I think it's gonna stay right there. So
Yeah, I don't think that they're. I think that like you said, it's building a narrative onto these women that play for us. Like, it's just like, y'all are gonna suck, and if y'all don't suck, well, we don't care. Kind of, sort of, like, that's what it is. Like, if y'all suck, y'all suck. We don't care about y'all. It's the same thing like you say with Indiana. Indiana suck. Just okay. Indiana sucks again. Like, that's just kind of sort of how they see it. And you can't put that. You can't push a team out of, because it'd be crazy if Indiana, Dallas, and Atlanta made the playoffs next year, and they'd be
yeah,
like, oh well, shit, we didn't put them on TV. So, and people don't even know, like, who you gonna have to show them in the playoffs. It's the same thing with the Hogs last year. We said the same thing over and over again. You ain't gonna give us national televised games. You barely gave us any. Okay, cool. That's fine. Don't put us on TV. But when we get to the playoffs, don't say nothing. And that's basically what it was. And I think that's what we have to go into this season with the dream. Like, hey, put that whole, push that away about the whole dream stuff. Let's push it out, about us not being on TV, not being nationally recognized. Push
yeah.
that out the way.
White noise, white noise,
Yeah,
white noise.
and leave it up to the ball. Let ball speak for yourself. We don't care. Like, this is, and as a fan, don't go complaining about us, no, about not having a national television game. None of that. Just leave it. Let it go away. Let it just not be. Let's not care about it. Let's
Yeah,
just not care about it, because they're not gonna respect you more if you go out and complain. They're just gonna be like, okay, well, maybe next year. Don't even give it any energy. Just let it ride out this season. When they realize how good we are and how good we supposed to be, they gonna realize they made a bad mistake.
yeah. So that we can kind of get on to the next subject. I'm gonna change this banner here for you guys so that way you guys know. Christy Wallace, who we did draft, is now back with the Atlanta Dream. What I thought was just going to be a 1 year, since every signing that we had has been 1 year deal, just to kind of prep us for next season in free agency. Dan Padover decided to completely activate her contract. And when you activate a contract like that, in order for her to get a core designation, or for her to be considered a protected veteran, she has to play for this team for 4 years. So he completely activated that. So she will be with us till 2025. Her first contract's a little under $61,000. It goes up about 10,000 each year. And so for me, I was really shocked about it, because it threw me for a loop. But when you kind of understand, what's going on contract wise, or if you know anything about, the money parts of this basketball operations, you kind of, it makes sense now that he wasn't just going to be able to activate her on a 1 year deal. She has never played for the Atlanta Dream. She got injured before we were even ever able to trade, or not trade her, before we drafted her, I should say, actually. So I think that this is, like I said, she's our Swiss Army knife. I mean, she's from Australia, but she's our Swiss Army knife. Not afraid to attack the paint, not afraid to go up against Brittany Grimer or Liz Cambage, which are going to see in our second game of the season against Kennedy Carter and Oguma K sisters. So she's not afraid to go against these individuals, and for her to come back from two injuries, I'm a little skeptical, a little injury prone is what I'm hoping that she's not going to be this season. But With that being said, I do think that she brings some flair to the team. I think that she adds some complementary aspects to, say, a Erica Wheeler, who I think is going to be our starting. She's going to be implemented in our starting lineup, hands down. Christy Wallace, I think, can be someone who can come off the bench, can be a really good, formidable guard, point guard that can help that core bench, get to where they're going. So I'm very very excited about this. T, how do you feel about Christy Wallace? I know.
Oh no, I was gonna say, well, you call her a Swiss Army knife. I guess because he's Australian, we'll call her the Australian boomerang.
Australian
Um,
boomerang.
so for her, I mean, like you said, she's not afraid, and that's the thing that like. And then if we gonna talk about Chrissy, we might as well bring up Maya. Those are
Yep,
bigger
another
guards.
individual. Yep,
Those are bigger guards that like to attack the paint. I mean, like I've watched. I
they're
watched.
both 5'11", both 5'11", both are signed to training camps. Um, to get into Maya Caldwell, she was drafted in 2021, third round overall by the Fever.
Yes, she
Um,
was.
she's playing in Spain right now, and homegirl is averaging 15.8 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, and 1.6 steals. You might as well just say she's averaging 2 steals, and that's just through 22 games. Okay, so of those 22 games, she's had 5 20-point games and one double double. If anybody knows who Maya Caldwell is, she is a Bulldog from Georgia. This is good. I hope you
She's
guys.
on that.
I would really really love to see her be on the Dream long term. For them to formidably build around her. I think that our draft picks, if they can find some some really really good draft picks this season, she'll complement. I think she's gonna get some playing time for sure. I've seen her play currently in the last I would have to say last couple months because I was the latest in photos that I was able to find videos. Girl can play, dude. I mean, T like this. I another just hit us with another steal. Signed her to a
Yeah.
training camp. Dan Padover, I personally think is doing a fucking fantastic job at getting this roster together. We had somebody who was quote unquote a Dream fan, but kept bitching about you know we're too old, we're too old, we're too old, and literally within like 14 hours he got us from like being one of quote unquote the old would have been the oldest teams in the league to now we're like mid card, where we balanced our roster out to the point where we got young talent, we got young veteran talent, and we got veteran talent. So we're spacing the floor, and like I said, every single person is going to play. We got some dogs on this team, man, and I think people need to start realizing that.
I don't think anybody. So you bring in, like you said, you bring in, Maya, you bring in Christy, you bring in, of course, Hillsman, and you bring in you. I mean, Dan is at a point where if we win this season, you can't not give him general manager or executive of the year.
Yeah, I mean,
You can't.
you look at okay, there's five positions on the floor, okay? Within those five positions, everybody needs to know defense, needs to know offense, okay? He has been able to find rebounders, people who can steal, play defense, play offense, all at the same time,
Yep.
okay? So for us to have someone like this who knows what we need, who knows what we didn't have last season. For one, last season, I want Dream fans to scrap it. Scrap that season. Okay, let's not talk about Courtney. Let's not talk about Kennedy. Let's not talk about anything from last season. Let's move on and move towards the future because we got a lot of players right now that deserve that spotlight. They deserve for us to care about them more than to care about the bullshit that we went through last season. That's just point blank simple. So he has literally been able to look at last season, say this is what we were lacking, this is what we have, this is what we need, and then this is what we got back, and was able to just formulate this plan that I think is being heavily fucking overlooked, dude. It's being overlooked. Like I told you, he had this smirk on his face, and I was like, you know what? They kept asking him like, "What's the next plan? You haven't really signed anybody, And it was just a smirk on his face where he was like, "I'm making moves, and you just don't even know it." So I'm excited. I'm excited about this season. I really really am.
He had this little grin. Him and I can't even think of her name. Tanisha. They
Yeah.
both had this little smirk on their face. Every question we asked, it was like a little giggle in front of it. Like they had this process already set. Like this was something that they knew. And of course Dan probably already knew what he wanted, when him and that's probably why Tanisha got hired, because they have the same game plan. What a lot of people have to realize, like when you hire a GM and a head coach, you want, especially two new ones, you want them to have the same game plan and the same, thought process. And every time we asked something, they like, they just knew what they wanted. And I think that's something that you have to have. Like it, and then to hear, like I always go, the Dan Paddle was saying he's just hyped. Like this is the funnest seasons he's ever had as a GM. Like that's something you have to realize. Like this is fun for him. This is something new for him. Like he's really coming in and redoing this whole team. So I mean, that's just kind of sort of what you have to realize into this, into the going into the season. Like, be happy, be excited. There's not a lot to, to stress about. Like Isaac said, scrap last year. Last year was just, yeah. Last year was just last year. Leave it at that. Leave it at that, and that's what we do. And we go into this season with a level head, a clear mind, and win. Let's just win. Like, don't be mad. You can't be stuck on the past. This is a whole new team. Literally, this is really a whole new team. Let go. You got to let go of that last year's team, the hurt we felt last year, losing all those games, being in games and losing those games. Let's not feel that way. Let's make sure this year we're gonna win. If it takes the every sweat bead on our face, we gonna win a game, or we at least gonna try. So just put it, leave it at that. And don't go into this season being negative already. Like y'all, like to be negative about signing players, and we don't even have a full roster, and we're under the cap.
Thank
You,
you. We haven't
you,
even fucking had our first preseason games. Damn it! Like
we haven't done anything to get you to the point of being like, this team sucks. Like nothing at
that's what I'm
all.
saying. That's that media perception. That's that fucking like they're taking this quote unquote manufactured consent, where it's like you want to make this team a bad team, and why? Like why? And it goes back to what we were saying before we fucking recorded. Like why can't we just have all the teams are good? Like all the teams can possibly be good instead of like because they lose, like oh they got problems, they gotta you gotta start looking at their front office. We got like what about their coach? It's just like no, like you create this negative perception that yeah it puts players in positions where they don't want to fucking play. They don't want to do it. So I think we lost T. So I'll keep this going on for a little bit, you guys. To kind of get into the other three training camp signings that we have, we signed a center, to forward, and another forward as well. The first one was Indy Jones. She comes out of Texas A&M. She was first team All Sec selection for her senior year. She was drafted number 23 overall by the Seattle Storm. T is back. My guy, what's going on?
I'm back, bro. I had a call. My bad. My bad.
You're
Yeah,
good.
but actually, I'll talk about this. What do you guys think about the Liberty plane situation? That was that whole situation. To say you were
Oh
going to
wow.
terminate a franchise over a private
Mm,
jet is
mm.
like, why? Like, what was the real reason behind saying that? Like, to think, let's just get rid of a team because they had girls getting chartered on planes, and that goes back to what we were saying about this front office of the WNBA, of the actual organization. Like, bro, they suck. I can't. There's nothing else you can put. They suck. Our commissioner sucks. The league officials suck. I don't. I don't even. I don't even. I don't know how to put it in a nicer way. To say you were gonna get rid of a team because they took a flight. They took a flight.
Well,
They
see,
didn't do
this is
anything else.
well,
They
no,
took a
see,
private flight.
this is where it goes even further into some bullshit. Is that they offered this to the whole entire league, like, hey, we can solve this whole like people having or players having to pay for their own flights. We could solve it right now. We can
They
sign a
could.
3-year deal for private chartering, and they said no. Why? Why? It was going to cost you fucking nothing. Okay, it's simply so that you can play this narrative like, oh, we need money, like we're poor, and it's just like no, you just got a $75 million fucking investment. Like they offered to for 4 year for 3 years. If I it's like why and I think you posted up right here. It's bull crap. It's bull crap. It's like you're degrading your league so that you look bad so that what you get these big ass money hungry capitalist people that come in with this large big chunks of money and they take up all the equity of the league. Now we have zero ownership. That means teams utterly like can be fucking dismantled like how it was when we first had our league. When we had this Sacramento Monarchs, we had Miami had a team. There was a team everywhere that there was an NBA team. Houston, the Houston Comets, for crying out loud, they should be a team right now. It just it blows my mind. It blows my mind that like you would rather see your team fester in some bull crap and misery, and have your players use their ultimately use the money that the money that they've gotten from your shitty contracts, you know, and have created, where now they got to pay. This would have alleviated that completely. So it
Literally,
just
and when a man says he's gonna pay for it for 3 years, the whole league,
it would
like
have it would have propelled those 3 years for each team to be able to save enough money to say, "Hey, let's do that deal again," and we just wipe this shit clean. And this comes down to is, I'm just gonna say this right now: Phoenix would have had a fucking chance if they didn't have that whole plane situation and them not being able to get to certain places, them not playing in their own fucking arena and whatnot. That was all due to fucking traveling. That was all literally due to them not having certain players that had to play, that had to fly in at certain times of the fucking of the series. So that series would have looked different. Would have looked completely fucking different. I'm sorry.
it's it's worse when you think
They were
about
they had
they
jet
have
lag
to
like a
pay
motherfucker. Like,
they have to pay to get on a plane that they literally could just get a private jet or a private plane like every professional league has. Every team has a private plane that they all get on and they fly together, and you could just do it like that. But to have these people literally having to fly and pay for it themselves is ridiculous.
yeah.
That is ridiculous.
It's ridiculous that you have the LA Sparks that are, in a sense, the sister franchise to Los Angeles Lakers, and they can't get a fly, where they're able to fly, the same amount of trips, or even just be able to be covered for their season the same way that the Lakers are. It's shit like that that like you got all these freaking people that are out there that like to talk crap about the WNBA and how it's not marketable. And it's like it's not marketable because the people who run it don't want it to be marketable. They'd rather just take that paycheck and then like fester in some bullshit. And it's like I think fans like me, fans like T, fans that are watching this, the 5 people we got watching us right now, pretty sure they're fucking tired of it. So it's just like
They
again right
put
here,
a
they took the Monarchs away, my guy. Like the Monarchs. like it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
it's bad. It's really worse, and this is why I say it's gotten worse because we went from everybody having a team to only certain
Yep.
cities having a team
Yep.
to okay, well, let's get the dream in what was it? Oh eight dream start. Cool. So you telling me okay, we go
2018
on a
Dallas.
hmm?
2018 we get the Dallas Wings when Aces
Yeah, we
moved
get the
to.
wings, and
So
other than that, we haven't had anything, like no talks. Drake said he wants a team in Toronto.
thank you. There's a
Why
there.
haven't you as a WNBA commissioner going up to Drake and say let's make a team? Why haven't you gone to Miami with
Homeboy
and
spent 10 years building $1 billion like mansion.
yeah,
Like he has the money to help you guys, like to help the infrastructure for that organization in Canada to expand the league. I
not
don't.
even just in Canada, but to really and truly just help build the league.
Yeah.
That's really all it took was to help you build the league. You just need somebody, you need some investors to help you build. Now, you went and got 75 million on a loan and I have seen nothing except new uniforms. It's about the only thing we've gotten that I can say has been like, okay, we spent that money well. Like I've seen nothing. It's annoying. It's horrible. Build build a brand. If it just takes you changing the logo or changing this, changing that, build a brand to help you win, to help you be as good as the NBA, to be as good as the NFL. Really and truly, your big brother is killing you because they have a brand. The NBA has been around longer and they have a brand. That everybody knows the NBA. When you say NBA, you're talking about basketball. You have to literally sit there and for the WNBA to be around as long as it has, and we barely get commercials, we barely get anything. Like it's so bad to you can't get a commercial. Last year was what was it 25 last year, and we barely got a commercial for 25. The NBA is on 75, and they're doing full fledged fucking movies about for the NBA 75 season. You didn't give us nothing last year to be like, this is significant enough. This is our 25th year. We're gonna do it big. No, you did the All-Star game and that was it. Like
And
you
see,
did
they're
nothing to help promote.
the All Star games are not even promoted like for like where they go to a different city. Like they're it's only in Vegas if I'm not mistaken. Like
Yeah, I
that's the
think it's
only.
only in Vegas.
So I again, it goes back to consistently individuals, uh, looking at it as like, oh, they can't grow the league. It's like they don't want to grow the league. There's been instances like right now, Drake and Oakland, group of former WNBA players, and African American investors, people who have worked their behinds off, to get to where they're at, that they want something that's black owned, that's African American owned, and I love that. Why not activate that? It's like I don't know. I don't know.
Put
It
a
takes
put a
it takes
WNBA team in Brooklyn. Put a
Thank
WNBA
you.
team
Thank you.
anywhere. Like, bro, you can put these teams and if you can have, let's just think about this. So you have the Pacers, you have the Fever, and you got what else is in Indiana besides the Pacers and the Fever? It's like college, and then the 500, the Indy 500. You can put a team somewhere where there's not a lot of activity. You can put a team in Akron. You could put a team somewhere in Ohio. You can put a team in Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh doesn't even have a team. Give them a team. Give a team in Alabama. Put a team. Put the Florida. Like, let's be honest. Oh yeah, the Colts. Yeah, the Colts are in
The
Indy. Nah,
Philadelphia Bells. Like I got names for days, bro. Like we have,
we have no. You like. Let's think about it. The only WNBA team in the South right now is it only the Dream? I'm trying to think. What Florida doesn't.
Connecticut. Connecticut can be
Connecticut's
considered,
not
I
the
guess.
South. Though. I'm talking about like South. That's not Connecticut's up north. So
Yeah. Like
it's
if
only
there
the
was,
Dream. Tennessee doesn't have a team. Florida doesn't have a team. Alabama, South Carolina, North Carolina, Virginia doesn't. Yeah, there's not another Southern WNBA team except. I mean, you go further over, you get Dallas, and you'll get them. But like, I don't think there's one in Tennessee.
no, there's not one in Tennessee, and that would be a good one to have in Tennessee.
It would be good to have one in Nashville, really and truly. Nashville is the sports, or you can put it in Memphis. Memphis got the best. They already got a court in Memphis. You ain't got to build no court. Just send them, put them in Memphis.
Yeah, what would they be
Like,
called if they were in Memphis? What do you think they'd be called? Let's get into that. Let's get into that. Let's do a little
you got
segment real
let's
quick.
okay. You got. I'm trying to like how we got like the Lakers and the Sparks. Like I'm trying to think of like what would be the Grizzlies and the what.
They can't be called Cubs because that'd be like too misogynistic.
Yeah,
Like
that
it'd
yeah
be
that.
real degrading. Like
Oh. I don't know if it would be bear theme though. I don't think it would be bear theme. I think they would pull something out. Like I don't know. Like there's a lot of different names. The Memphis Soul, Memphis. I don't know because now they got the Memphis Soul. Isn't that their G League team? I think is the Memphis Soul. So I mean, you can find it. It's the same thing with like New Orleans. You got like the Pelicans. You have the Sparrows or something like that. Some feminine bird. Like I don't know. Like you have most teams. I don't know because the Dream and the Hawks have no correlation at all. So it's same thing with the Heat. You could have another team in Miami or female, like it's so many different areas you could put a team.
I'm thinking, okay, if there's an NBA team in what 32 teams is there or 30 teams in the NBA, just every
32, yeah,
team
32.
32 teams. So we already have what? How many teams do we have?
15, I think.
15. So you would just put a team in the rest of those areas that the NBA has.
Yeah. That would be the smartest plan. Because mind you, you could have the WNBA season right after the NBA season, like we usually do, and it would run perfectly. Or
Yeah.
start the WNBA season during the playoffs. However you want to do it, but
Well, no,
roll it,
because that'll
make the
that'll
seasons
take
roll
that'll
smooth.
take. Well, see, if you do that, that takes away from the WNBA because now everybody's going to be focusing on these nationally televised
Yeah,
playoff games. So you figure, okay, you have the WNBA season kickoff right after the finals, like right after,
yeah,
okay, or even have it while it's like the last couple of games of the finals, so that way people who are already starting to see like where the game is going with the NBA the last couple games, you propel that. And really it's the and 50% of the league being owned by the NBA, it's kind of shitty that they don't have a better marketing strategy.
they don't.
So it's like, why not put the league, you just make the season for the WNBA start right after the NBA. And then it propels the whole WNBA to have this whole sector where they're not really competing for basketball. They're not. Because at that point in
Only thing they're
time,
competing with is like AAU ball.
that's AAU, but see, that goes into a situation where there needs to be a channel, a direct channel for the WNBA. It can't be
Yeah,
like, no women's hoops, and then like you throw in like this, bullshit ass, 3 minute, conversation, and you move on to like some high school basketball. Save high school basketball for like a high school basketball like sports network, because
yeah.
it's interfering in like the women's sports. It's interfering in everything that the WNBA is trying to build towards. And I don't think that they really realize that. Like the only time that we see the WNBA in mainstream news is like, say, for instance, right now with the whole Brittany Griner situation. You know,
Yeah.
like it's shit like that. Like it's drama. They'd rather put us on live television, mainstream, when it's drama, and this league is far past that now. So
I like this. Well, yeah, I like that idea. It's more than a million in the last few rounds of the playoffs. Perfect. Yeah, like and like when you start the semis in the East, and like you start getting to the division finals, and then you get to the actual finals. That's when you should start promoting. But I like this idea using the college enthusiasm in this how really and truly the Georgia's girls basketball team has a really big following compared to the men's side. Like, well, our girls are better anyway, but not even just saying that wise, our like it's a really big Georgia Bulldogs women's side following, and having to have that, that actually be pretty cool. You still got and you can use college girls like yeah, but you can use that same college atmosphere and then use it in WNBA. WNBA has still yet to unlock a atmosphere that you want to make these games kind of feel like. The NBA feels like a big game. NFL always feels like a big game. It puts pressure on you. WNBA is just like, oh, they just playing basketball. So I mean, that's just kind of how it seems. Um, but for me, I think what's gonna hurt the profit margin, like just I'll just say for this year per se, is not giving more teams more exposure. Like you're not giving these teams the exposure they really need and they want. And I think that's what's gonna mess up. Because let's be honest, if you're a Dream fan and you like, okay, I'm gonna watch a Dream game. If you don't have Badly, you ain't gonna be able to watch it. And a lot of people, I hate the Twitter live stream God, because they don't even pay attention to the game half the time. They just over there doing interviews. So you okay? So you're gonna have to get Bally. You're gonna either have to basically watch it on Twitter because they ain't gonna put it on nothing else. And those are your only two options because we're not going to have a big like I'm saying, we're just not gonna have a big way to watch our team. Now, for if you know that if you're a diehard Dream fan, you're gonna figure out a way to watch the Dream. They have streaming websites and stuff like that, but it's like, why would you not just give us a national game? That's the part that's annoying to me. I'm a college softball fan. The South supports their college teams like nowhere else. They don't have a ton of yeah. That's the thing with Tennessee. That's the thing with Alabama. That's why you see all these they don't have pro teams. They have is college. So, if I only have college sports, I'm going to go for my college sports no matter what. Because that's all I have. I can't cheer for nobody else. Who else am I going to cheer for? I got to cheer out of my state to cheer for a team. And that's what would make the WNBA so big in certain states because you give them a team, they don't have a pro team there to worry. Like Pittsburgh has the Steelers, they have the Penguins, and then they have like Pittsburgh University. They don't have a basketball team in Pittsburgh, but they have two other big championship winning teams. You gotta think about that when you market to some of these areas. Like Pittsburgh would be a perfect city. Cincinnati, these like MLS has done it perfectly. I'll put it like this: MLS has actually done their expansion perfect because they went to Atlanta first, then they did Miami, then they did Miami and LA, which is literally two of the nicest places you would want to premiere a team. They did Miami and LA, they did Cincinnati, they did Charlotte, and now you look at the MLS map. If I wish I could pull it up, you look at the MLS map. They're covered from one end to the other. Literally, from one coast to the other coast, there's a team in between somewhere. There's not an empty spot. So you have to realize that if you're the WNBA, you have to realize the NBA is exactly the same way. There's not an empty spot. NFL, there's not an empty spot. WNBA, oh, at the middle of the map might as well be empty. It might as well just be all desert. So you got this whole East Coast and this whole West Coast. No New Orleans, no Midwestern, no Mid Eastern, none of that. Just straight East Coast and West Coast. You gotta bring in some oomph. Like you gotta bring in somebody who's gonna bring you some money.
I think Drake is the person. I mean, like I want to. There was a comment that's on here. I'm gonna bring it up. It basically emphasized they didn't do Sacramento yet, but
Are
someday
you saying
maybe.
soccer? These links talking about MLS. Is
Okay.
Sacramento gonna get an MLS team? Do y'all have a soccer team there? I didn't
No,
know you
there's
guys
a
had. Y'all might
there's
have a
a
MS. Is it major soccer? Is some MS. The other
San
pro
Jose.
league.
I know the closest thing to them would be San Jose.
Yeah.
Earthquakes. We were looking at that. No, what? Who? Someone said on here. Um, damn, I done lost my train of thought. He has a lot of like he has a huge following basically. Like Drake in of itself like is that's just like a prime example as to like who can really help propel the league. Right here it says right here. He would also bring eyes onto the product and has a huge social media base. That's completely true. Completely true. For him to like even just post a picture with Liz Cambage like that, I'm pretty sure helped her out so much. I'm pretty sure that helped out Las Vegas Aces. Like it just so for me, uh, it's just it puts me in a situation where it's like you guys don't want to grow, man. Like y'all don't want to grow.
They don't.
What does it
Oh,
say?
Sacramento Republic FC. Oh,
Yeah,
well, did they put it? I mean, they got to put in a bid for it, but I can see it happening. MLS is really gonna try to spread this, and that's why I'm saying NBA's talking about doing expansion. WNBA is gonna get lost in the dust really fast if they don't start expanding.
Well,
They,
we'll see. The expansion should have happened the first thing. That should have been the first thing when we had that $75 million. It should have been. We have 75 million. Now we can invest into another team. And their excuse was, is that, oh, we don't want what happened last time where we're bringing a team in and they don't have no, financial structure, no this or that. And it's just like, no, you have arguably a league that is about to propel itself to being equal to the NFL, in the NBA, and you, as far as financial wise, and and you sit there and you don't want to ask them for the help that's needed. You don't want them to, in a sense, try and help aid by, okay, we have a team, we're having this Midwest problem, okay, well, we got a team in the Midwest that's called the Oklahoma City Thunder. Maybe we can call you guys the Oklahoma City Lightning or something. Like, it's simple. It's fucking simple. You have a deal with Nike, for crying out loud. Like, it just I just don't understand the thought process and like how they think that we're all just going to believe that this league can't be what it should be. So
yeah, I mean, they like I said, we'll finish off right here.
yeah.
Um, to to basically summarize how I feel about the WNBA front office is that they suck. Um, they 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 suck as an organization because there's so much more you could do for this league, and the little that you do is like it's bare minimum. Literally, it's literally bare minimum. And we can go back to the bubble. We can go all the way back to the bubble and how bad of the comparison was between the NBA and the WNBA's, and how our bubble had roaches and animals and stuff all in it, and the NBA was staying over at Disney. So it's stuff like that you see, and we have to realize that this is just not, this is just not a good league. That this is a league where we had to really and truly, you know, we have to be the voice of change for the
Yep,
WNBA.
especially
Like
for Atlanta.
as a fan base, we have to be the voice of change because it's gonna get worse and worse if we don't speak up.
Yep.
Anything you want to close up with, Isaac?
Yeah, I'll close up with, any Atlanta Dream fan out there. I tried to put out a Maya Caldwell video, but through editing, it kind of got a little wacky. I'm gonna be posting a video pretty soon of her. It's already finished. It's just YouTube is giving me like some really, really bad like trouble with stating that I have copywriting issues. Trying to use this Georgia Bulldog video, and Georgia is giving me a little bit of trouble, but I'm gonna try and find the most recent video that I can give you guys, so that way I can get this out as soon as possible for you. I want to thank everybody who has followed Living the Dream podcast on Twitter, on YouTube. If you have not already, go ahead and follow that. We're not affiliate of Atlanta Dream, but we do love them and show respect. This channel, Living the Dream, used to be called ICB Media. It's no longer called that. So if you are on live from YouTube or from the Twitter, well, really the Twitter is actually brand new, so no one on there really knows about ICB Media. But if you're on YouTube, this is Living the Dream podcast. Chris Leamer is no longer a host or an affiliate of me, of this podcast, of this YouTube channel. So if you're looking for his face or his voice, you can go elsewhere. Um, yeah, yeah. So if you want to follow, go ahead and follow. I'm going to be posting I'm trying to get it down to every week, posting a video for every player that we have, showing them the highlights and whatnot, going in depth on their stats. So just stay tuned. I do run another podcast, the Sideshow Podcast, which is more of a solo podcast. I just talk to certain individuals and go in depth on their talents. So you can go and check that out too. That's on Instagram at the Sideshow Podcast, and the YouTube is the Sideshow Podcast. So first episode's already up with Chuck Roque. He actually was a cameraman on the show Succession, which is an HBO Max exclusive. So he's done 2 seasons, and so we go in depth on kind of like what his thought process was behind the scenes, and he also is a comedian. He works for the House of Blues. So yeah, go ahead and check out all of that. Go ahead and follow T if you're not following him already. And most importantly, everybody just have a good fucking day. The Atlanta Dream are in good hands, bro. So
Hey man,
oh,
with that,
subscribe to Fila Sports Podcast on
of
YouTube as
course.
well. Subscribe to Tyrone's Dream Fans Twitter as well. So every page that I believe is affiliate of Fila, go ahead and follow them. They're the content here is fucking amazing, and it's gonna get better. So we're on the up and up here, living the dream. That's the motto, living the
Hey
dream.
man, we living a dream. Thank you guys, everybody that watched. Y'all know I probably know everybody that was in here. How y'all, everybody that's in here. Thank you for watching, of course. Um, like I said, I'm gonna put a community tab out on Fila. Um, and let's actually talk about this expansion. I might do a tweet. I might put it on Twitter too. But give me some names and some, if you have uniform mocks for 'em, if somebody made a
Mm-hmm.
uniform mock, send it to us and we'll do a show on it. And we'll
Yeah,
discuss, the expansion that we have. Let's make it like if we do Tuesdays, let's make it expansion Tuesday. And
yeah.
every Tuesday you give us an expansion team and we'll talk about it. That's what we'll do. We'll do it like that. And that'll just be our Tuesday show for the dream. We'll cover some news if there's news, but Tuesday will be expansion Tuesdays, and we'll just go ahead and you guys send us, expansions and stuff like that, and we'll talk about it. We'll make it an actual show about it. But like I said, thank you guys for coming out. Thank you for listening. We'll get back with you sometime. Hopefully, and we'll definitely get back with you in March. But hopefully, the draft we'll do a pre-draft show. We might do the draft live. Don't know yet. Have to talk to Isaac about that. But
No,
we'll
I wanna let's actually talk about that before we actually leave because if you don't mind,
go ahead.
we can maybe do like another maybe 10 minutes. I know we kind of like we kind of sent everybody off, but the draft. So there isn't a set day for the draft at all, and I don't know mainly if that's due to broadcasting issues if they're trying to figure out what time slot it's going to be through ESPN. I know it's going to be through ESPN. Um, it's a little rocky, but I want to get into what fucking ESPN slated us to have or who they think we're going to draft, and I want to get some comments from some people or for some Dream fans that are in here. So they think we're going to draft, if I'm not mistaken. Let me go down my list. ESPN projects ATL to draft Shakira Austin. She plays for Old Miss. She's a center, 6'5" senior. Um, in my opinion, this is the worst pairing for a draft. We don't need an individual like this. I'm just being completely honest with you guys. She's bad from 3 point range. We need someone who's big and who can space the floor and can ultimately make their own shot outside the paint. That's just my opinion. But the draft, I don't like ESPN's projection. My opinion is I think we're gunning for one of the top two spots and I think we're going to trade up. I think that's going to be the play that we have this year. So, T, what are your thoughts at least on kind of what the draft is before we actually have our draft video or mock draft actually?
I think if we do trade up, it would be. I don't know if we are going to trade up. I can see us trading up, but I will say something. I think we're going to go guard. I don't think we're going to go.
Yep,
I
center.
don't think. I don't think we're going to go anywhere near center. I just don't know. Like I just don't see that as something that we should do. I think it'll be a guard. I think it'll be I think we getting big guards. I think we're gonna go get a big guard anyway. I think that's what we're gonna. I think we're gonna get a younger big guard. I think that's what it's gonna be.
I would like to see us get like a small forward of some kind, um, so that way we ultimately can have someone who can space the floor, especially in that middle position, and we can play some small ball, and it's young too. So, but yeah, that's my thoughts. I know we kind of wanted to end it, real quick, but we're gonna have our mock draft video where we're gonna go down the list of every individual, not for every team, but just for Atlanta. Some individuals that we feel complement our team and complement what we do here in Atlanta and what we're looking to do forward. So that's just my opinion.
Yeah. I think that's what that. I think we ended off on that. Thank you guys. Like I said, thank you again. Thank you, Alec. Hey man, we'll be doing dream stuff a lot. So let's just get ready for that. But with that, we're gonna get out of here.
Yeah.
Peace.